Hello folks, welcome again to the Boneyard / YouTube channel, also an outlet of the Hillbilly Cooking Network. We're here to talk about Bigfoot, motorcycles, midgets, monkeys, Jesus and 45. There's only two things you need in this life to survive, folks. That's Jesus and a 45. Jesus and a 45. But that is a Ruger black powder revolver, modern day pistol. One of the best ones they make, but we'll have some others on the show sooner or later. Some other versions, variants of 45s. If you haven't bought my book, The Boys of the Boneyard / buy it. If you haven't read it, read it. If you read it, don't judge me. It's about my misspent youth. Lots of stories in here about my brother. He was the main reason I started writing this book, Dennis Renfro. But he was always doing something. My brother Dennis, always, from childhood to adulthood, always something. And we've had a lot of fires here lately out in California, and I hate that. It's not good. I hate hearing about it. But it made me think of something. When I was a little bitty kid, we had a big fire. They called a Possum fire. Yeah, I'm not joking. My brother, him and one of his buddies, him and his buddy Tommy, they were hanging out one day, waiting on time to do some evening chores. You know, when I was a kid, we was way out in the country. We had chores to do. Had dogs to feed, hogs to feed, cows, chickens. My dad trained bird dogs for a living. We had a nice concrete kennel with lots of bird dogs to take care of, quail, pigeons, cows. We had a little bit of everything. There was chores to do, carrying firewood. As long as you was big enough to work, no matter how big or small you were, you worked out on the farm. But anyway, brother was waiting on chores, evening chores to come around. Him and his buddy, Tommy. It was summertime and it was hot. They were just rambling around the woods and running across an old possum, and they chased him down. He soiled up, a possum soils up. They lay down, they play dead, and they lay real still. They act like they're dead. They call it playing possum. So that's what the possum did. He was playing possum. So my brother and Tommy, this was no fun. This possum just laying here playing possum. Very boring. So anyway, got this great idea. They're gonna run back to the house, get a little bit of that lawnmower gas and put on him, kind of liven him up, get him going again, where they can chase him, do something, have fun. That's what they was thinking. So they go get a little gas, and they douse a little on the possum, strike one of them kitchen matches, and throw down there on it, and poof, the possum jumps up, and he runs, he takes off running. He's on fire. It's possum flambe. He's trucking through the woods, a flaming possum. Here they go. They're chasing after him. But he's running real fast now. They can't catch him. And he's dodging in and out of the brush and the tall grass. And they start noticing everywhere he's going, he's setting stuff on fire. Everywhere he's going. Running up into brush piles and under tall grass. So they quit chasing him. They start trying to stomp out the fire. But they can't do it. Can't. They burn up 40 acres of hay meadow and some trees and forest. Not a bunch, but pretty good bit. 40 acres, pretty good sized hay meadow. But anyway, people in the area come around, got it all stomped out and put out. Didn't have no fire departments out there in the country where we was at. I mean, you just have to take care of things yourself. You're on your own. But all the neighbors and people that lived around saw the smoke, come help put the fire out. I was just a little kid, and my brother, he's about 14 at the time, something like that. But anyway, the big possum fire. And I'm sure they were scratching their head trying to figure out, the source of the fire and how it happened. Now, they didn't tell nobody what they did. Nobody know, probably. We didn't know for a long time until he told us. But set possum on fire, took off running through the woods. Big possum fire we had. Yep, nobody got hurt, nobody got killed. Possum probably did, but other than that, he's always doing stuff like that. Always. We had some hogs and stuff, and they were way back at the back of the pasture under a big oak tree. Had a pen built around. Daddy had a pen built around this big oak tree. Dozen hogs, pigs, raise them up, through the summer. The hog killing time's in the winter. January, December, January, when it's real cold, when we kill hogs. Most people kill hogs. Are the ones you're raising. So, you know, summertime is hot. Once again, one of my brother's jobs was feed these hogs, water them. Daddy tell him, don't be chasing them hogs around. Don't be making them squeal and run. Hogs, pigs, they don't sweat. They do not sweat. You get them too hot, they'll fall over and die just from the heat. Yeah, you can't be chasing them around, stirring them up. And he knew how Dennis was. They said, don't be chasing them hogs around, don't be aggravating them, just feed them, water them, leave them alone. Yeah, y'all know what happened. Dennis can't leave them alone. He done fed them, watered them. So he's out there with a stick. He'll whack one with a stick, and they'd squeal and run around. He might kick one or chase one down, throw a stick at him, just aggravating him. Just being ornery, you know. I love him, but he's ornery. But yeah, he got to chasing them around in a bunch and stirring them up, and they got hot and overheated. One of them fell down, just fell over on its side, started breathing real hard, just panting. You know, this hog is in distress. Brother looks concerned now, because we 6 months away from hog killing time. These hogs, 60, 80 pounds, they ain't near the 250, 300 pounds Daddy wants when he kills them. This ain't hog killing time. Got one down, in distress, pig down. He's looking around trying to figure out what to do. I mean, this is serious stuff. You go messing with redneck hillbilly's food that he's growing, yeah, your butt's gonna be in big trouble. My old man was tough anyway. You didn't want to mess with him. I'm telling you, he was hard. He was a hard dude. But anyway, he goes looking around in the pond. Our pond's like 80 feet, 90 feet out there away from the hog pen, because that's where they got the water. So my brother gets the bucket and he runs out there and gets him some of that nice cool water. He's going to revive this pig, save the day. Everything's going to be cool. The pig's laying on the ground, breathing hard, just struggling for air. He takes that cool water and throws it on there. His legs straighten out. This pig's quivering and he is dying. He just threw cold water on him and it's put him into shock. He's already overheated and too hot. Now he's done took it to the other extreme. And this pig died right there. And my brother is worried and concerned. And, you know, if he knew CPR back in them days, he'd been working on that hog. I'm telling you, he'd been down there doing the CPR, whatever he could do. Pig died. He died. And my brother was in trouble. It was bad. Oh yeah, it was tough. Anyway, he get in trouble for killing the hog. Throwed the cold water on him. So then he's up there in our feed room messing around. A few days later, week later, I don't know. He's mad because he's been in trouble. And Daddy won't let him go fishing or something he wanted to go do because he's in trouble for killing the hog and got chores to do. So he's kind of mad. And we had a big feed room. It's around 12 by 16. Had all the saddles for the horses and all the feed for the dogs and the hogs and the chickens and everything we had. Had a sink, double sink, countertop where the water, we wash up the dog pans and all that stuff. Medicine, you know, it was what we called the feed room. We had a little bit of everything in there all day as tools. So, my brother, he's messing around in there, kind of mad, and supposed to be working, doing something out there. He decides he's gonna do a little experiment with some carbide. And now back in them days, yeah, we had regular flashlights, used batteries, but we're still using some carbide lights. And if you don't know what a carbide light is, kind of like you see them old miners and stuff wearing. This is a carbide light. This is actually my carbide light when I was a little kid that I used for coon hunting. And carbide came in a quart can, like a paint can. You pry the lid off and had little chunks, look like rocks in there, look like volcanic rocks, but it's called carbide. And you would take that carbide and you would pour some into this part in the bottom here. Just a little bit of it, a few chunks, maybe half full. And then you would take the top up here, and water goes in the top there. And then you adjust the water flow with this deal here. and the water dripped down on the carbide, and it comes out right here in the gas, and then you strike that, and you got a little flame like a torch coming out from the gas and the carbide and the water. Okay, that's old timey stuff right there. But I used to hook mine on my light, on my cap sometimes and wear it, but most of the time I just carry it around. Carry my carbide in an old Prince Albert can, metal can with a little carbide in it, and I had no Army canteen. I carried water in to drink in to put in my light. But anyway, Dad had one, brother had one, I had one. Brother got this carbide out. Takes his carbide and drops it down the sink in the drain. And he just didn't put a few little chunks. He put lots of it down in the drain. And then he runs some water, turns that water on, puts that water down in that down that sink, down that drain. He thinks he's gonna have a little flame come up out of there, you know, so he steps back away from the sink a little bit, and he got a box of kitchen matches, you know, strike anywhere matches, like your grandma used to keep around the stove or something. He takes that, strikes that match, throws it over there just a few feet away at that sink. Yeah. He's done waited too long because a bunch of gas has done built up. He done waited and waited, and this, yeah, sink's full of this gas. The match hits it, it blows up. Boom! Big explosion. Blew the sink out of the counter, split the drain pipe from the top all the way to the concrete foundation in the floor. Knocked stuff off the walls. Filled the feed room up with smoke. He can see out the window, though, that Daddy's coming out the back door, and he's taking his belt off as he's coming out the back door. And Dad don't know what's happened. He knows there's a big explosion out there in the feed room. He's got a pretty good idea. Dennis probably had something to do with it, more than likely. So, I mean, he was just getting ready. Yeah. So, here he comes. Yeah, Dennis, here he is, in trouble all over again. Done blew up the damn feed room. Yeah, with carbide. Yeah. I don't even know if they still make carbide. But until a few years ago, you could still get it. But anyway, that's just a few of my stories that are in this book. There's more detail to them than that, but that's kind of the long and short of it. Love my brother to death. He was always doing stuff, and we'll get on to some more stories after he got grown, and some more when he was a kid. But he was always doing something. Speaking of explosions, things blowing up, little tidbit of history, things they don't teach you in school. The Battle of New Orleans, I don't even know if they teach that anymore. But the Battle of New Orleans, you know, that's a good piece of history, American history. Andrew Jackson, the hero who beat the bloody British at the Battle of New Orleans supposedly with the help of Jean Lafitte, the pirate. You know, New Orleans was a huge port, always very important port. This was during the War of 1812, which was actually a few years after the war. A few years after 1812 was when this happened, but they call it the War of 1812. The British were bearing down on the New Orleans, on the port. They've called on Andrew Jackson to take men down there to defend it, to try to beat the British. He gets down there before the British. He knows he's outgunned. He knows he's outmanned. A few other problems. He's low on powder and low on flint. He had to have flint for flintlock rifles back then. The rifle had a piece of flint that went on the hammer, and the flint, when you fired the gun, the flint would strike and set off the powder and shoot the gun. So he was low on flints. Needed flints and powder. He knew he didn't have enough to do what he had to do there. Jean Lafitte had flints and he had powder. There was one problem. Jackson goes and sees Jean Lafitte. Jean Lafitte says he'll help him. He'll give him some flint, he'll give him some powder, he'll give him some manpower to help defeat the British. Jean Lafitte's brother is in jail in New Orleans, Pierre Lafitte. The governor at that time had put a price out for the capture of Jean Lafitte and his brother Pierre to be brought to him alive, $500. Jean and his brother thought it'd be funny, so they posted posters all over New Orleans for $1,000 for the governor to be taken to them. That made him mad. That made him real mad. Oh, he was mad. Jackson tells the governor what's going on at that time. You know, here I need this boy out of jail. I need Lafitte out and turn to his brother in return for flint and powder. This means a lot to America. If the British take over New Orleans, this could be ruination for our new small country. Governor's hard-headed. He's mad. He's still pretty well pissed about this reward they put out for him, and he's got one of them in jail, so he ain't giving it up. He is not. So Lafitte has told Jackson, Andrew Jackson, you get my brother out of jail, I'm with you. You got powder, you got flint, you got manpower. I will help you fight the British. It still wasn't guaranteed they could win because they were still outgunned and outmanned, even with the help of Jean Lafitte. But he told him he would help him. Andrew Jackson was a Freemason. He was. Rumor has it that Jean Lafitte was. Don't know that for a fact. Can't prove it. Andrew Jackson was, though. A proven fact. He was a Freemason. The governor ain't turning the Lafitte brother loose for nothing. All of this has been fact up until this point. The rest of this is speculation on part of a historian. This historian who has written this article, and it's a long story. It goes in much more detail than what I'm just giving you on the Boneyard Slash version here. It's very interesting. But his speculation is that Andrew Jackson has gone to the jailer of the jail that is holding the Lafitte brother. No one has ever escaped from this jail prior to this. New Orleans has been around a long time. And this particular jail they were keeping him in hadn't, up to that point, had never had an escape. You all know Jean Lafitte helped Andrew Jackson, so his brother got released and went back to him. The governor didn't release him. The story is, if you look into the records, the actual historical records at that time, it shows that he escaped. The jailer at that time that was in charge was also a Freemason. Speculation of the person writing this historical story that looked into it. He said, speculation is that Jackson went and talked to the jailer as a brother, told him what kind of fate lay await for New Orleans and what they knew as America at that time. If the British took over New Orleans, it would probably be over. Had Lafitte's brother escaped and gone back to him, he had no obligation to help Jackson. He had no real dog in the fight. He could go and do his pirating just however he wanted to, no matter who was running New Orleans, British or American. But we all know that he helped him out. So speculation is that the jailer, Brother Mason at that time, beseeched by Andrew Jackson, opens it up, releases Lafitte's brother in return for the help to win the battle of New Orleans. He did the greater good. He did not do his commanded job, but he did what was the greater good for America and New Orleans to help Andrew Jackson win the Battle of New Orleans. This jailer, last name Holland, also went on to become the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Louisiana, who also gave the warrant for the first lodge in the state of Texas, for the first Masonic lodge in the state of Texas was given to us through this jailer who went on to become a Grand Master. A little bit of history they don't teach in school there. Some people say the real hero of the Battle of New Orleans was this jailer who released Jean Lafitte's brother when he wasn't supposed to, against orders, and wrote it up as an escape. Had he not done that, Jackson may not have won the Battle of New Orleans. More than likely would not have. Anyway, 2 things you need to survive in this life: Jesus and a 45. Midgets, monkeys, Bigfoots, motorcycles. We'll talk about some more, get some more facts, talk about some more things. What was the Boneyard Slash? If you ain't got it, get it. If you ain't read it, read it. If you read it, don't judge me. Jesus on 45. See y'all later.